Yeah.
Quick refresh. No data.
Weird.
Do you see data on your side? You should see it in the back end, not it being live.
I see that it is on your channel and on the Making Conversation channel.
So that it is currently streaming live right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Technology is so fun to where it doesn't.
We love it.
Play nice.
Oh, hello. We have had a technological disaster morning, but thank you for joining us.
At every flippin' turn, it's as if the internet does not want me to play nice with you guys.
We're trying.
It's so frustrating.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm on the link. Thanks for joining us. We are gonna get going here in 2 seconds. It's way up. Thank you for your patience. Yeah. Please hold.
We're just gonna go with it because it's not doing the thing, but we're just gonna keep thinging. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Well, if it makes you feel any better, it's not showing up on. It's just like spinning through the link that.
Yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. It's not coming. It's not doing what I had hoped. So that's fine. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
We're
gonna get this eventually. You know what I mean?
What sucks about all of these things is that you actually don't know if anything works until you're actually doing it, and which means everyone gets to go on this journey of you failing if you're failing. So that's fun.
Yeah, and what's happening right now is it's streaming to a different live link on my channel, so that's fun. So everyone gets to see that. Let me actually just give a little update, and then we're going to get into it. Let me just give a little update here to all the socials.
It's fine. We're going to do some calming stitching in the middle of all of this.
I think that's a great idea. Let's take a deep breath.
Everyone just grab their single solitary whip because we only work on one thing at a time. Isn't that the lies we tell ourselves? Yeah. Look, it's so pretty. I make pretty things.
I'd have to lock my dog out. I usually don't have my dogs when we do this, so.
Well, mine is sitting right here wondering.
This is going to be a fun one here to really join in on. You know, technology is technologying, and that's just how it is. And let's try this.
Anyway, it is Tuesday. It is overcast. It only looks bright in here because of lights and this light coming from the outside here. But yeah, we're gonna get things going. We're gonna get things done here. I am very excited to see and talk to all of you that are here and that will be a part of the replay. If nothing else, happy Tuesday.
Yes.
As I try to count stitches because I don't know what I've done.
All right. So if you are watching live, thank you for your patience. You know what? Let's get into this.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Welcome to Making Conversation, a podcast where we celebrate all things making and fiber artists and fiber arts.
All the things. all the things at work.
We did it. Okay. Y'all, Britt and I have, talked about doing the live thing for a while. We've done a couple of episodes. Life happens. We are trying to keep a schedule of like every other Friday, but sometimes Britt's out of town, sometimes I'm out of town, sometimes there are children, sometimes there are dogs. We are humans too, along with you, and things happen. So we
All the
decided,
variables.
why not a Tuesday morning? Why not?
Why not?
Britt, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone in case people
Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Britt. I am a crochet designer by the name Not Bad Britt. I am constantly talking about crochet being everywhere in all the places and trying to help people of color find themselves doing their favorite thing. When I'm not doing this, I am doing this. So that's me. That's what I do. You can find my YouTube channel under Not Bad Britt. That's with a K, like knots and stuff. That's what I do. That's it.
Yeah. So Britt's channel is linked in some of our previous episodes. If you're watching live, if you are watching the replay, well, thanks for getting this far, first of all. Second of all, I will put her YouTube down below. We thought it was going to work. Riverside is a real pal today.
It's been a little pal today, and that's fine.
It's fine.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into a few things here. So one of the things that we are doing or like to do is talk about different businesses that are doing good things within our community. I have coined this part good. Why? Because there's a lot of bad in the world right now. So we like to talk about the good. So I wanted, Britt, do you want to kind of go through, you mentioned something that was very upsetting and I had not heard of it.
Man, and I'm thinking about more good. And so I might have two. Is that okay if I have two?
Oh my God, please. We need more good.
We can all use some good. Okay. So first of all, I want to share, it's Tuesday, so my words are still on Monday time. So I just wanted to share that there's like the need of support in the community right now. Anna Campos, who owns Circle of Stitches, which is a yarn store in Salem, Massachusetts. She also is a dyer behind Toil and Trouble. She is Brazilian, and she owns a store, and they had just relocated their store because their landlord was a butt, and then they had to move into this store on short notice. It needed work, but they had to do what they had to do. They rallied, they got to it. She then teaches and vends at Vogue in January, and then literally gets home and like weeks later gets a call that her store is flooding. So turns out something was happening in the building above them. One of the units above them was having a severe flood. Also, it was cold, right? So it was Boston, Salem, Massachusetts, cold places. And water's flowing in, and there's basically just an inch or two or however many inches flooding their yarn store. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with water damage, but it sucks. It is depressing how much it can devastate things. I personally have had many floods in my house and have had my water heater broke when I wasn't in town, and thankfully somebody was in my house, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't have arrived for weeks later and would have had standing water in our home for weeks. So yeah, I know what it's like to have some water damage. And so their store is currently closed. It's been closed for 3 weeks. Thankfully, they were able to save the yarn. The yarn is safe. And what I would love is, they're basically asking people in the industry to just help them out by buying yarn from their online shop, which is like the least we can do, right? Buying patterns and sharing their GoFundMe. So we'll put the link to their GoFundMe in the show notes later. yeah, it's the thing with water damage is that the more you go into it, the more damage you see. And so it's never like,
Mm,
oh, it's a quick $10,000 job. A $10,000 job can go from 10 to 30 to 50 within the same day because it just
yeah.
gets worse and worse and worse, especially with it being cold and it being an older building. And if there were any flaws in the building, the water is going to exacerbate it. Basically, walls just act like sponges and water goes all the way up.
Mhm.
And the further it goes up, the more damage you have. Electrical, um, freestanding, everything. I'm just like, honestly, I
Britt,
was
can
on
you
a call
remind
with,
me of
yes,
the name of the shop? Because I'm gonna drop
yes,
the link in the chat
yeah.
right now.
It's Circle of Stitches.
Thank you.
Circle of Stitches.
That's what I
So
thought. I didn't
I
wanna
know
say.
not everyone can support financially and whatnot. And I get it. Support looks different, many different ways for many different people. Um, and in this case, support might just look like sharing the story, which is fine.
Mm.
I think that that's a great way to do things if that's what you can do. So, yeah, we can put some links there. And oh, it wants me to give a thumbs up. I'm not doing that. We
It
can put
looks
some
like that there
there.
is they're doing a pop-up,
Yeah. So
at
they
Toil and Trouble Studio.
Yes, that's her other dye studio, or that is her
Mhm.
dye studio. So they've
Mhm.
moved as much of their items into their dye studio as they can so that they can shop that. The other thing that they're doing, though, also like in April, is they're doing, oh gosh, and I think it's called Fiber Witch Festival.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Ooh,
so it's
right
the
up my
second
alley.
year of that. It's like
Me too.
right, they're moving right into it. And
Yeah.
so imagine you've moved your store. You have to close it for flooding, and you still have to put on this event where you're in charge of vendors, you're in charge of sales, you're in charge of all these people. And
Mhm.
so it's just a lot of moving parts, and it would just be great to be able to remove one piece of the puzzle from them and give them just a little bit of cushion.
Mhm.
Yarn stores are
Yeah.
failing left and right, and I would hate to see this one go.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, you made it. Hey, Sheila.
Okay, so it's Circle of Stitches. They are located in Salem, Massachusetts. So if
Mhm.
you're in Salem, go to their website, which I've dropped in the chat. They're doing a pop-up at their studio. It looks like they have some pretty good hours on there. Um, and if you're not in Salem, go out to their website, shop online. And if you can't do any of those things, just share about it, share the story.
Sharing is caring.
Yes, very much so. So do some good,
Do some
and,
good in the world full of bad.
there is bad. Hello, good morning, happy Tuesday. You missed our lovely technical difficulties that we had, so thanks for finding us over here. Um, you know, things are gonna happen like this. It's bound to happen. We're gonna figure it out eventually. Typically, we're sitting on this couch behind me together. So, technical difficulties are more fun when you do it in pairs, in person. So, thanks for hanging out with us here on the correct link.
On the correct link.
And yes. What are you working on right now, Britt?
Funny you mentioned that because as we're talking about Circle of Stitches, this is actually her yarn, Toil and Trouble.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm helping make something for the event. So this will be out soon, so people can, um, you know, download and make it and all those very fun things. Yeah, it has no name, but it has a theme, and so it's basically a secret. Just act like you didn't see it, okay?
Oh my god. Okay, wait a
Mhm.
second. You didn't lead with that.
I'm
We've
sorry, it's
got
always a
secrets
secret.
on this podcast. Another reason to
Everything's a
watch.
secret. Yeah. I have to tell you, the
Big
amount of things
deal.
that I actually am making and designing that I can share in at the same time are to 0.
Mhm. That's fair.
9 times out of 10, your favorite designer has 4 designs in the tank that they're making at once, and they can't show you any of them. It is so frustrating.
Oh, and
Your
my
sister's
sister's
on.
here. It's a family affair, everyone.
Always.
Okay. I'm about to do something never done on the live podcast before. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm about to rip out stitches live because I made a mistake. I am making, hold on, I have to go look it up because ADHD. I am making the step-by-step cardigan by handmade _ Florence. I bought this yarn at La Mercerie. Shout out La Mercerie on Bainbridge Island, Washington. We love. And
what kind of yarn is it?
It is. Okay. Somebody help me with this because I'm probably going to be wrong. Rerum Natura.
Deremura?
Oh, is that how you say it?
Deremura?
Sure.
Call 911. She's ripping it.
Anyway, it's the Gilead in Oh, Chris. Hey. Here we go. Someone help me. No, I'm doing the ribbing and it's dark yarn and I was watching TV and in the dark. And that was who's I've been doing this for so long. You'd think I would learn. But I have not. So there's a small part of the ribbing that looks like seed stitch, which is not correct. So we are going to do this live. We are going to rip it back and we are going to.
Okay, so how many rows do you have to rip back though?
Oh, just like 4. But it's all while doing a live podcast. So we'll see how this goes. All right, y'all. The other thing that I wanted to show was I finished before I start doing the scary thing. I finished this cutie.
Yes.
Oh, of course I'm getting tangled up in my cord.
Well, last time you were getting tangled up in it because you had 50-11 balls.
Getting tangled up in the yarn. Hold on one sec. This really is a action-packed live episode, isn't it?
It has everything. Technical difficulties. It
has everything.
That thing where you rip out yarn in a Sorry.
All right, y'all.
She's cute. Okay, you got to step back so I can get the whole vibe.
Okay. Well, I can't step back too far because I'm connected.
Oh, well, all right.
Okay. So the only thing that I'm trying to figure out is these front things are supposed to be pockets. And
I was just going to ask you about the pockets. You told me they were pockets.
So I feel like I unknit a little bit of the pocket and make it not go up so high. But hold on, let me show you.
Put your hand in a pocket. Oh, because it attaches up there. Well, I think it's still cute.
I think I might unknit it a little bit. And then reattach. But that's the progress that we've gotten. I'm really excited about it. I think
you've done a swell job.
Thank you. Putting it on made me excited to finish that. But then I also, oh my God, I'm attached again. This is a theme. This podcast has it all. Technical difficulties, ripping out yarn mistakes. We also want to talk about some tips. Okay, y'all, let me my brain exploded when I learned this tip. And then my brain exploded when we shared the tip and everybody, we had so many people responding to it.
The amount of people that were like, I was doing that in the 80s. I was like, okay.
Okay, before we go too far, the tip was when you are creating a garment, whether it is knit or crochet, a lot of patterns will go, top down, knit the yoke or the shoulders or whatever.
We're saying knit, we're saying make.
I'm sorry. This
Okay.
is what I am the knit side. You are the
Inclusive
crochet.
language.
It is inclusive language I do use, but I was thinking of a pattern that I recently did. Okay.
Mhm.
Make the yoke or shoulders and then break for the sleeves and then finish the body. No, no. First part, do the sleeves and then finish the body. Then you don't have sleeve island and
Yeah.
your tension is better and it's a better fit. And guess what? I did that on this cardigan and it's true.
I'm doing it right now
These
on
are facts.
the second version of my sweater design. I mean, I'll be honest, at first, I was like, oh, when I'm done with these 2 balls of yarn, then I'll go back and start doing the sleeves. So that's what I did, and it is nicer. Um, I think I think the reason why they're written that way is because it is so much easier to just keep going down when you're writing it, to keep going down, split for sleeves, attach them, and continue.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to just put their yarn on hold, um, or cut yarn at that point. They want to at least like keep going till it's finished. So that's what I did in my case. I just kept going until that set of yarn was done, and then
Mhm.
went back and did sleeves and the neckline. And I could definitely see the difference of it being of how it fit, right? So I
Yeah.
tried it on without the ribbing and the arms done, and then I tried it on with it, and it went from like the neckline starting here to the neckline like pulling up like this. And I think that small amount of movement makes a big difference for garments. It really affects how long your sleeves are going to end up being. And I mean, I'd rather have a shorter body than like not enough for my sleeves. So just let me get my
Yeah.
let me top torso going. I live a cropped life anyway, so
The amount
here
of
we
people
are.
too who is like that was their reasoning. Like I don't know that everybody lives that cropped life like we do, but
No.
the amount of people that were like, "Well, if I don't have enough yarn, then it's just shorter, but at least I have sleeves." And I was like, "Dang, we've got priorities here."
It's like I don't need a full shirt. I need my arms covered. Like I wouldn't mind my arm like sorry, this is like awkward. But like my sleeves can stop here. That's fine. I
Yeah.
definitely have a sweater on my arm stopped here. One of the first sweaters that I made that I love stops right here, but it's only because I don't know how to measure right. And so when I finished it, I was like, oh, I'm done. It's like, oh, the sleeve is supposed to be another 3 inches. And I refused to carry on because I had already cut that yarn. So it's basically a done deal at that point.
You just did a mod, basically. You were like,
It's
"I want
fine.
3/4 sleeves." Okay,
Mm.
so people watching, what are your famous tips and tricks? Do you have anything that is, like, mind-blowing or not even mind-blowing, just like, "Hey, I do this thing, and I don't know if everyone else knows about it." Drop them in the comments. Also, I found one thing on the internet that was kind of mind-blowing to me, um, and I will link it below after this podcast so you can see the video, but I will explain it right now. So, I think one thing that a lot of us are trying to do is throttle back on the consumption, and be very mindful and thoughtful about where we're putting our money and where we are, how we are spending in this world. Um, I think that a lot of people that may be hot take, if they see something on the internet about having hordes and hordes of yarn as a joke, it's kind of eye rolly now. Am I wrong? Is
I'm
that a hot take?
I'm high key guilty. Don't look behind me
No,
or
I
to the
know, but
side.
people like wearing like basically people saying like, oh, like being super proud of like, oh, I buy too much yarn all of the time. And
I mean, I get that. I think that overconsumption is totally happening, and I definitely see people trying to be a little bit more mindful of not just what they're buying, but how they're buying and who they're buying from. And I think that's really good. I hear the term sable a lot, which is stash beyond life expectancy. Um, I hear a lot of people going ham on the final stages of Joann's and freaking out about big twist yarn and like, where am I going to get my big twist? And people just wanting their favorite yarns. I don't know. I'm kind of like, well, if that yarn makes you happy, boo, go get your happy yarn. There's not enough
Yeah.
that makes us happy right now.
I think what I'm talking about is like when it has the same vibe and feeling and energy as like, here's my 15th Shein haul this week, and they dump out a bunch of clothes. You know what I mean? Like there's like that energy of like, there's a difference between purchasing yarn to support your local dyer. There is, or like support your local shop, or I bought all of this yarn at this fiber festival that I went to, and I'm going to go buy yarn to just sable.
Oh, like to just show it off.
Yeah.
So like, you mean like that, like the FOMO of it all? I haven't. You're my 500 Stanleys. That's what Disco Fiber says. I haven't been around that, but yeah, I'm having a difficult time because I'm on what I call a yarn fast. I'm trying hard every single day not to buy more yarn because your girl doesn't need it and she's not going through it fast enough to continue to consume it at the rate in which she has. I've legitimately like lost yarn in my house because I forgot that it existed. So I'm trying to like chill. I'm seeing the writing on the wall. I have refined my tastes to what I like and what I don't like. And I would like to make more of my own clothes that fit in my color scheme that make me happy. But knowing this means I can't just be going out and buying every new release that is going to get to me 3 months later, which I don't have a problem with the time that it takes because art takes time. But remembering that I don't have to have the newest thing every single time, because if I'm just going to sit there and stash it away, did I really want it, or did I want it because it was cute? And I also like kind of shy away from the idea of like, oh, I got this new package, let me go show it off, because I don't want to continue to perpetuate that we need to show everything that we do and what we get and like, and how. And I think that kind of creates, I don't know, it's like a different kind of hustle culture. It's like, I opened a box today and it had some really cute stuff in it that I knew was in it just to show off, right? Like it had stickers and cards of no value, but it was there so that if you decided to do an unboxing or photo, that you had other accoutrement to show off.
Which is also smart marketing, because some people will do an unboxing.
It totally is.
I think I mean, exactly what is said here. Here's my 500 Stanleys. I have every color of brunette. Same vibe.
Like, but can
That's
you,
what I'm
can
saying.
you
It's
drink
like,
out of 500 Stanleys?
Yeah. Also, here's well, I have 2 Stanleys, but that's only because one of my best friends used to work for Stanley.
What is that? Is that a weapon?
Okay, first of all, I have gripped it in a situation where I thought, if somebody jumps out now, this is going straight into their head.
So it's a weapon.
So it can be, but also I am trying to, everything is content. Sorry, I'm responding to the chat. Okay. There are a few things that I am trying to do right now. We're going to get back to the tips. Don't you worry. We're taking a little side quest here. Speaking of things that I'm, trying to be better at, I'm trying to drink at least one of these a day.
How much water is in that thing?
I don't know, 60 something.
64?
More
That's
than
not
that.
Bad. More than that is
it's hard.
Lot.
It's hard.
It's like
my issue is more protein.
Yeah, and that's a struggle.
And as a vegetarian, that's difficult. And as somebody who has a very difficult relationship with tracking things because of past eating disorder things,
Mm-hmm.
which I won't go into because, we all have some version of that, unfortunately, I'm sure. Uh, it's hard. So vegetarian, not, I should continue to rip this out while I'm talking about something that's not fiber. So
Mm-hmm.
today. Anyways, I'm
um,
trying to eat more protein and I'm trying to drink more water and I'm trying to quit Amazon.
yes. It's very difficult to quit Amazon in the city of Seattle, like, because it, funds our friends. I have
Mhm.
I have some tips for you to quit Amazon. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, I have tips too. Yeah, let's go. We've got tips.
Um, Remove yourself from the expectation that everything needs to arrive ASAP.
Mhm. Yeah.
As an Amazon Prime person, I got real used to same next day delivery. Um, it is a glorious thing, but I also think in my head, like, at what cost? And I've
Yeah.
consistently thought about that, like, at what cost, even before this whole movement to kind of like not go into it as much. It's like, wow, does that, like, for real? So I have removed myself from that. I have been only using Amazon for research. Now we have a problem now because so many of the little things that we might need or want are only available on Amazon,
Are
right?
they
Like
are they only
I
available on Amazon?
I bought these little, can you see this thing? You see that? I bought this, right? I don't know where else to get a little stinky doohickey lapel mic that,
Google
for the record,
stinky doohickey
I know,
and
but it doesn't work as well, right? But like, I wanted to have a low investment on something that I wanted to, use, right, as a tool.
Mhm.
This brand, this thing is not anywhere else. It is only on Amazon for
Mhm.
reasons.
Mhm.
So if I want to try something out, I have to have a higher investment in a higher quality product. Um, and so I have to make that choice as to, do I really need it? So at that point in time, I then rethink.
Right. I think when I say quitting Amazon, I mean, like, I'm first of all, the influencer culture of here's my link to my Amazon page where you can buy everything that I've ever talked about here on my Instagram or whatever. That is so readily available. And now I'm not saying that everyone needs to leave. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. Everyone needs to make their own decision and
Sure
that whatever
do.
that decision ends up being is perfect for you. What I'm saying is like I'm just trying to figure out how can I step back from some of these things that support people who don't give a flying F about anyone else but themselves and their money.
Mm.
Um, and so, yeah, I'm working on filling up credits on uh what is it called? Oh, Audible. So I have like credits on Audible because I forgot that I had Audible.
Mhm.
ADHD. I have Audible because I can only listen to books, ADHD. And so I'm gonna get all of girl.
Hmm. You don't like my spin?
It's
You don't
so
like when
loud.
I do this? You're like my nervous twitch.
Oh my god. Okay. So anyways, I'm trying to like buy up my credits, download those books, and I'm going to totally cancel Audible. One of the tips that I saw about Amazon Prime is if you have Prime and you want to get rid of it, check to see when the renewal is. And then once you hit that date, let it renew. If you're like really, really, really nervous about giving this up, let it renew and then cancel it. And then you have a whole year to figure out where you're getting your stuff.
My other thing though is, as far as Prime goes, it's how
Mhm.
I watch hockey.
Right.
It's the only way that I can
Pay
get
for
it.
that separately. You can pay
No,
for Amazon Prime, the TV show separately, right? The TV?
I don't think that you can.
I think that
I
you
mean, I
can.
don't know.
Yeah, I think you can. Which
I mean,
is
that's
so
mostly
really
what I
funny,
use
but
it
it
for.
no. Anyways, there are
Yeah,
things that we can all be doing to step back.
yeah.
consumption.
I mean, someone
Anymore.
mentioned, you can use like a TikTok shop for lapel mics or like those small kind of things.
Yeah.
That stuff is fulfilled through Amazon.
Yeah, it's true.
Like it's the same place, just a different kind of thing. I mean, I don't send people to Amazon for books. I send them to bookshop.org. Instead of downloading things on, like your audiobooks, you could get a library card and just use Libby for your
Yes,
the
that is
books.
my plan. That
Yeah,
is my
it's
plan.
very easy. It's wildly easy.
Also, um, libraries pay tons of money for those audiobooks. I
Mhm,
heard that they're very, very expensive, and so it's
mhm.
good to sell to support your local library. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're talking about consumption. We're talking about bettering ourselves. We're talking about tips and tricks. Just trying to bring it right back around
Uh-huh.
to where we're at here. With our fiber arts, right? So the sweater first, which is or the sleeves first on the sweater,
Mhm.
which
Sleeves and neck.
comes up to that. Um, handmade.mimi, mi on Instagram
Mhm.
posted a tip for reusing wool, which is another way that we can, you know, kind of throttle back our consumption. I'm sure everybody that has been knitting or crocheting for a very long time has at least one sweater in their closet that they don't wear anymore, whether that is fit, whether it's just style. And if you want to reuse that and rip it out, you've got noodle yarn. It's real squiggly. So what they did is they feed the yarn through the lid of a pot where they have water steaming inside of it, and they pull it through the hole in the top of the pot, and it steams out the yarn. So it's not squiggly yarn anymore.
So this is instead of just using a steamer.
Right, but it is a
Yeah.
way to then you can
Yeah.
make your balls again. Hold on. I'm
Yeah.
bringing this up. I'm gonna do the really
So
cool
I've
technology
done this
thing.
before where yeah, I've done that before where oh, interesting. Okay. That's cute. I
I was
would
like,
probably still use a
"Okay."
steamer because now I'm in my kitchen, but I see how that can get it done without you know, this is
I
what I
really
have around
do.
me. I like to I've done this before, and so I've gone ahead and I've unraveled something or whatever, put it on my Swift, got it into like the really big circle, and then hung it on something and then steamed it gently, and then you get to watch it relax,
Mhm.
which is really nice.
Mhm.
There is an account I think called Reclaimed Fibers or something like that that legitimately goes places like Goodwill or wherever they find nice sweaters there and they unravel them and then they sell that yarn. And so you could
Ooh.
I mean, and that yarn that you're getting is like thread. So it's meant to be, held double unless you're into that, which I am not.
Mhm.
Um, but it's a great way to kind of just, reclaim fibers. If you
Yeah.
see a nice sweater at a store, I get like, this is really nice, but it looks ugly, or I don't like this style. You could still get it and then use the fiber because you're a fiber person.
Mm. Yeah, for sure. I know. I think that that's something that I want to try in this upcoming year is thrifting a sweater that I like every time I go thrift shopping, I do keep an eye out, but I haven't really gone with that purpose. So,
Mhm. Yeah, you have to have that purpose, but I think it'd be kind of fun.
so the other tip that I got outside of the amazing tips that are in this live stream chat, um, is from Lorelai, and they're on Instagram and Ravelry. Sorry, Instagram and Ravelry as LORE Leiers. And it says, I knit my swatch starting with the outside strand, or excuse me, let's restart that. I knit my swatch starting with the inside strand of my caked yarn, then tuck the swatch into the cake, and then knit the project using the outside strand. By the time I get to the end of the cake, I don't need the swatch anymore, so I can unravel it and knit it. No yarn wasted.
We are the same. I do
I
that all
love
the
it.
time.
I love
All
it.
of the time.
But things that people who don't swatch necessarily don't
We
think
won't
about.
talk we don't talk about those who don't swatch. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
I mean,
We have
sometimes
some other tips that are actually pretty good in here that I know nothing about because it's a knit focused one, but we're still going to go with it. So Spun and Stitches says for a sewn bind off, instead of doing those 2 rows of setup, they just knit the last ribbing rows as a 1 by 1 and then bind off. I don't know what that means. Please translate.
my brain is very like visual. So I would need to see that to understand what that means, to be honest.
Okay, we're gonna need more from that.
I know. Everything is content. Yeah, and I like Chris's when you need to untangle a skein of yarn, think of somebody who gossips a lot.
Just like you're getting all the tea. It's like, this is fine. I'm doing just fine because I'm getting all the way through it.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
fair. Has anyone watching noticed that I'm now doing this row for the 3rd time? I'm just curious if anyone is keeping track at home.
Oh my god. Well, I've totally
It helps.
just
Oh my god.
stopped
It
my
helps when you're deciding that you count your stitches to make sure that you have the right count. I like to live, you see how I can't stand this chair. I like to live dangerously and just hope that I have gotten to the stitch count that I am used to. That is on my target. It's really funny.
You have a little
You know,
ASMR here?
oh yeah, get close.
Let's see. Oh my god. Hold on.
You can like you can like barely hear it, but it's like it's all thumpy. Like I can feel it. It's all thumpy.
Oh, you can feel it because it's
You can feel
thumpy.
it. Yeah, it is thumpy. Did you get any more tips? What else can we share with the world?
Those are 2 of the tips that one I found and then one I received. I kind of want to save a few for future things. So I feel like those are good ones to start with. But if anyone that's watching, if you're watching afterwards, if you have like a hot tip, fiber arts hot tip that like might blow people's minds or might blow people's minds, like half the people who are watching. Love that. A secondhand yarn shop. Oh my gosh. Drop your link in the comments. I love that.
Oh, you don't know about disco fibers?
No.
Maybe we need to have a little powwow with disco fibers.
Yeah, let's have a chit chat. I would love that.
There is a secondhand yarn shop in Seattle. Did you know
that? What is it called?
It's called Seattle Recreative.
Oh yeah.
Well, art store, but yeah, they have a lot of yarn there. I have bought quite a bit. Yeah, disco fibers is great. I'm pretty sure, and do not come for me. I'm pretty sure they're based in the Portland area.
Love it.
Disco Fibers is, and they basically make de-stash yarn available to others, and they've done a couple of pop-ups in Portland and whatnot. Disco Fibers. Yes. Yeah, just kind of awesome. Here, I like to share, so I'm sharing links to Disco Fibers.
I love it.
Bing, bang, boom.
I'll also put it in.
Yes.
I'll put it in the.
I think that kind of thing. I think that kind of thing works really well for people who are struggling with overconsumption and don't know what to do with their stuff. Having to deal with destash as a whole is um, it's a lot, and it can get a little overwhelming. But
Yeah.
if you could provide your your unwanteds, the
Yeah.
ones that no longer vibe with you, if you can provide them in bulk to someone else that can then like put them out into the world, I
Mhm.
think that's really great. You can unburden yourself with those skeins of yarn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
into it.
recently did when I say recently, I mean in, like, the fall of this last year, I did, went through all of my yarn and, like, picked out the things that were, like, no longer speaking to me anymore. Things
Mhm.
that I, like, bought, years ago and kind of sat in a drawer or, I wouldn't say that I have a huge stash waiting for me, but it was enough to where it was like, "Okay, I know I'm never gonna use that again, or I'm never gonna use that because why did I pick that color? Like, that's not I don't wear that color, that's not my color." So, we actually had so at the end of every month, the last Saturday of every month from 12 to 3 in Seattle, Washington, there is a maker meetup that I do at Tailwind Cafe. And you can find more if you find me on Instagram, Knit Pearl, or on Blue Sky. It's Jen Joyce, JenJoyce. And anyways, we did a D-stash, and basically just everyone brought whatever yarn they wanted to just have there, and then people came and picked through the yarn and took what they wanted, and it was just kind of a community fun, like, tradesy thing. Um, and I think that that could be a really good way of kind of sharing the love of any yarn that you're not gonna use with people that are within your physical surroundings, you know what I mean? A
Mhm.
physical community. So, I'm hoping to do that again at some point, but
It's like a nice quarterly kind of thing. It keeps people engaged in what they already have. Um, and maybe they can easily put things aside when they come across something that's no longer sparking joy for them.
yeah.
I'm into it. I have quite a few things I need to unburden myself with. They do feel weighty and burden-y. So I
Mhm.
would like to do a rehoming assignment. I just
Yeah.
don't know the best way to do it. Last year, I did mystery bags of my yarn, and people would buy them based on weight and provide like some color guidances. I'd say what colors you don't want and fibers that you don't want. And then if I could if I could satisfy those needs, I would with what I have. And if I couldn't, then I would just like refund you. But those skeins were like $10 each.
Oh, wow.
And it was all hand dyed yarn, and it flew out the door. I was able to relieve myself of quite a few more yarns, because I was a Knit Crate subscriber for so long. I had a lot of just twosies, and
Mhm.
my as my tastes have changed and my skill has grown, I learned that I need like three of something to like be
Mhm.
happy at least. If I'm making a sweater, I need like six or eight. If it's worsted, if it's DK, six works. If it's fingering, 4 to 5 works. But
Mhm.
I need a lot of yarn to like make these things work, and so they just kind of pile up. But it's all right. We're gonna get through it. Maybe I need to do another
Yeah,
destashorama.
fun.
Yeah.
So, one of the, everything everything feels hard right now. There's a lot of stuff happening, and, one of the memes that I feel like comes back around always that's fiber arts related is the artist who crocheted herself into a cocoon.
I have not seen this.
You have not seen this? Okay. First of all, this reminds me that I need to, um, figure out how to share stuff on my screen during lives. So thank you for that.
Mm.
So the artist is Bea Camacho, and I'm really hoping that I'm saying that right. And if I am not, I apologize. You can find them on Instagram at IBEA.CAMACHO. I'm
I
going to
found
link
it.
that right now.
Oh, I see.
For anyone
Oh,
watching, it's
I have
basically
never seen this. This is insane.
you've never seen this before?
No,
Oh my gosh. I feel like it's like a part of memes all the time.
I'll be honest. I try to limit the amount that I'm spending on
No, that's fair.
the
Speaking of
Instagram.
speaking of that kind of stuff, yeah, I totally get that. Anyways,
Also, it
I
sends me so many things that I don't want, but oh my gosh, some of these are really great.
so this person is I love the meaning behind it. The other thing that was I saw a lot of when I was researching this is people were saying they were interchanging knitting and crocheting, and I was like, the person who wrote this has no idea what they're talking about. Anyways, so Bea is a fiber artist who had this performance piece. It's called In Clothes in 2005. And they spent 11 hours crocheting a red cocoon around themselves until she fully disappeared inside. No breaks, just fiber movement and transformation. And I thought that it was interesting because um, it kind of, the meaning for her behind it was like, there were a few things that came up as I was doing my research. It was like this feeling of like needing like security and a home because I guess she is away from her friends and family a lot or has been. There was also something that I read that said that she was, let me bring this up actually, instead of me just trying to, oh, there goes Benny. Let's see.
So just
Sorry.
for a little bit of more context for people while you're looking that up. So this was on display at the Metropolitan Museum of Manila in the Philippines. And this happened in 2004, which is really interesting because it's so relatable to things that are happening right now. But this is like 21 years ago where someone was still trying to find this warmth and security. How things just cycle back out. And she's done a few other performance pieces as well, which is really cool.
My dogs
I'm like,
decided to sing the song of their people, so I went on mute. Told you it was gonna happen.
well, it's fine.
So one of the other things that it is kind of meant is to critique the visibility or not or lack thereof of women, especially women of color in museum spaces. Sometimes intentionally erasing her own brown body is what this is. I was like, that's
I definitely
yeah.
see that in her most recent one that she did just last month because it's on a white wall and a white background and she's using white yarn and she legitimately disappears from the screen. And that's a pretty powerful statement.
So I figured, this is like a meme that goes around a lot or that I have seen where it's like, okay, let's just go hide now because we are going through some stuff and will somebody make this cocoon for me? And I was like, well, let's find out a little bit more about the artist behind it. And, they're just going to keep going. My dogs, I don't even know if you can hear them.
Just let the dogs keep going. And just dogs. This is fine. When did you first see this? Because I've never seen it before.
I've seen it a couple of years ago. It popped up in my feed.
Awesome. I'm really curious if anyone else out there who's watching has seen it. So if you have, please let us know and let us know like how it kind of made you feel. Knowing now that there's a little bit more behind it, is it like how does that make it different? going beyond meme and more into just
like art and reason behind the
yeah,
art.
yeah.
And yeah.
Because I
The
do feel like everything it's funny because same with the term hack, the term meme almost gets applied to anything that is a funny photo,
mhm,
or and I'm not always sure that it's like what makes something a meme versus just a photo? Is it the
mhm,
context? Is it the commentary around it?
mhm.
Entering the public zeitgeist of
Well, I think it's also like the I'm assuming that many people who have shared this don't
Mhm.
like, they didn't do the research and the background behind it, right? They didn't know the background behind it.
Well.
They probably don't do fiber arts themselves, whether it's
Mm,
knitting or crocheting or weaving or
mhm,
whatever. So, I assume that they just see this. Like, I did see somebody comment on it on Reddit and was like, "Oh my gosh, look at how funny this is." And it's like, actually, the meaning behind it isn't funny. It's more meaningful than that, you know? And so, um, yeah, I just thought it was interesting to, like, go into it. So she went to Harvard and studied visual and, environmental sciences there, and she taught herself how to crochet when she was at school.
it'll get you through. I wish I knew how to crochet when I was at school. I had no
Mm.
time. That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, I think that it's a very the fact that she continues to utilize fiber art in that way around her art is very cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna close my door one moment.
It's okay. Dogs just be being dogs. Mine is staring at a door, wishing my husband were here to she just misses her best friend. My poor dog.
That's fair.
Mhm,
I don't know
mhm,
if that helped
mhm.
at all. It doesn't it feels like it didn't, but, whatever.
It's fine. I think it's totally fine. What else do we have? I'm trying to
So, kind of around the same, like, seeing this meme and people utilizing it and in a way of like, "I wanna hide for the next 4 years," et cetera, et cetera. Um, one of the things that I've been doing while I'm still utilizing the platform of Instagram,
mhm,
and still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with that, there are 2 accounts that I have found that kind of have helped me. They're not fiber arts related, but,
mhm,
they've helped me kind of stay informed in a different way than just, like, doom scrolling and, like, looking at, the news. So there's first, The Girl with a Microphone, and every Friday, they post No Bad News Fridays, and, what I like about that is it's informative, but, um it focuses on a lot of positive things, right? So, every Friday, there's a post that gets thrown up that is just no bad news, and, I really appreciate that a lot as, it's not necessarily, like, overly positive, like sunshine and rainbows consistently, um, but, it's let's focus on a little bit of positive in all of the things that are happening right
I
now.
mean, I definitely appreciate this, and at the same time, the topic of it still feels like bad news to me. Like, for me,
Right.
no bad news is not having to deal with this right now, is to not have to have it still thrown in my face of the things that are going poorly. I want no bad news to be like, tell me your accomplishment. Like, tell me something that actually, like, I want I want positivity in spite of, not necessarily, um, this bad thing happened, and so this is us resisting and rising up. So while I am happy that this strikes a chord and like makes people feel good because what you're seeing is like a list of a list of resistance, which is lovely. Um, my no bad news, if it were for me, would be everything but this. I feel so bogged down by it all.
Yeah.
Even it's gotten to the point to where even the good things about these topics feel heavier than they should. Like none of it feels light anymore. I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, I
I
totally get it. There's just
I could be alone in that. But this is such a great resource for when you need to know the wins against the fight.
yeah. Yeah. The other I mean, everyone should be taking breaks and resting when they need to, right? I think we've talked about this before, like rest is resistance.
Yes. I'm having
Um,
chair issues.
it's okay.
I hate my chair.
I was having dog issues, you're having chair issues, technical difficulties. Now my yarn is all tangled and I'm gonna take Chris's
You better think about gossip.
yeah, thinking about somebody who gossips.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna unravel this yarn while we finish up this episode. Anyways, the other account that I linked in here is Amanda's Mild Takes. So it's very similar in that way. So maybe not for you right now, but she very snarkily posts reels about the current president's losses of the week. So the things that basically didn't work out that were good for the American people in the end. And so she also goes into explaining bills that are in committee and like that whole process in a very like visual and concise way so that you can kind of like it's a little bit more easily digestible because again, my ADHD, like sometimes keeping up with all of this is a little bit hard. And
Sometimes, I mean, I wouldn't even put that on ADHD. I would put that on life.
that's fair. That's fair. Anyways, so those are two accounts that I've really enjoyed following because I feel like it takes the in a way that I appreciate it takes the news and kind of informs me, but also feels a little bit different than just like reading CNN or MSNBC or something like that to stay informed.
Oof. Yeah,
So,
I can't even go there.
yeah, no, I understand.
Okay. Well, you've shared two accounts that have been good for you.
Yeah,
And I feel like I must share two things that have been good for me.
please do.
I am in a I am in a state of survival. So I will be really blunt that I don't interact with news day to day on like a head-on basis
Yeah.
because I would fall into a puddle. So things like this where it's kind of rounded up for me is like really, really great. Look how far you've gotten on your frogging. I'm so proud of you.
Mm.
So instead I'm moving towards now I say this as like, oh no, that's a jump scare. That's a jump scare. Spoiler alert. Spoiler. I say this, I'm not saying this as someone who's like doesn't know what's going on. I know what's going on. I can't dive too deep without
Right, 100%.
so I move towards comfort watching of things. And so
Mm.
I recently went through the second season of David Tennant's Doctor Who. Absolutely delightful. Um, it has some of my favorite episodes. It also has, the first Black girl companion. So I'm immediately like, there. You gotta love it. You got your Martha Jones, loving it.
Love
Freema's
it.
a delight. She's also in Sense8. And if you haven't watched Sense8 on Netflix, I highly recommend it. Freema's fantastic.
Very, very good.
Yeah, so I kind of went through that, and I find comfort in watching things where I already know everything that happens, like, and that are in a fantastical place of things that can't happen. However, I have noticed that as of late, those fantastical things that we thought could never happen, they
I
coming
was
back.
gonna say,
They
I
coming
feel
back.
like
So yeah. So
never
I've been
say
watching that.
never.
What else have I been watching?
Look
Man,
at it. It's not as much of a
it's
jump scare
tiny.
anymore.
See, if you think about the gossip, it just undoes itself. There you go. There you go.
Okay, what is everybody else watching? Because I feel like this is very, very much a very good
Mhm,
topic.
mhm.
The act of zoning out and watching things and, uh, knitting, crocheting, doing any sort of crafty thing that keeps us sane.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a few episodes behind, but This Is Us, not This Is Us. That is something else I'm watching. RuPaul's Drag Race,
mhm.
always a good time. And I love the sewing challenges because not everyone knows how to sew. Yet this is season whatever 500 million of RuPaul's Drag Race, and you'd think that the contestants would learn to sew at least basics before they went on to the show because there's
Um,
always a sewing challenge.
that's like saying that the bakers on Great British Bake Off would practice making bread before bread week, knowing they got to make bread. And they're like, I never made bread before, or I don't know how lady figures work. And
Yeah, it's
like,
very similar. It's
it's like,
very
have you not watched this show before? This is not a surprise.
also not saying that all drag queens need to make their own clothing because some hire amazing people to do it, which that also needs to happen. But I feel like that is part of it, right? Like I don't know. I'm not a drag queen, so I shouldn't
You're
be
going to
talking
say
about
right,
it.
and I'm going to say I am ill-equipped to even no.
But but it's the same thing with the Great British Bake Off. Like sorry, I got distracted by the comment about Love is Blind. We'll get into that in a second. I, if
We're
you
going really
are
deep into two
an
shows that I
at-home
do not
baker,
watch.
yeah, that's fair. If you are an at-home baker, you probably should bake bread once. I don't know. Anyways, yes, Love is Blind. I do watch that. I am admitting these things live on the air. Um, what an interesting season this was. I don't want to do any spoilers just because I feel like we're still in the catch-up zone for people who are like maybe behind. But
Mhm.
that is a that's a let's put this on the iPad in the background while Jen's doing other things type of show for me. And
Let's
then the like episodes where they get married, I fast forward through everything except for if they say I do or not, and then I watch the whole reunion. That's how I do it.
okay. Now let's go on a fantasy trip of acting as if someone doesn't know what that show is about. That someone is me because I don't watch reality TV for
Okay.
the most part. So
Love is Blind.
I'm assuming that people just they never see whoever it is they're talking to, they fall in love with them and they're expected to like marry them.
That is a great way of saying it. So basically, Love is Blind is they go into the pods. So they're sitting in these rooms.
Mhm.
They cannot see each other. There's a wall between them. They go on dates with all of these other people. There's like a women's side and a men's side, and they all go on dates with each other. They start kind of like dwindling things down, right?
Mhm.
When I am learning so much about disco fibers right
I
now,
know.
I'm
Look,
just like, okay, we need to be friends. I
I'm kind of
it.
shocked that you're not already. So it's okay.
Well,
We're gonna fix that.
we're gonna fix that right after this.
Mhm.
Um, they dwindle down, and then to move on to go on the vacation slash honeymoon situation, sort of, but they're not married
Mhm.
yet, so it's just vacation. But I
Mhm.
think it's supposed to like I don't know. Anyways, you have to ask the other person to marry you before you see them. Then they have a dramatic reveal. This is what I look like. Then, if they still want to go on this trip because people have dropped out at that point, uh, then they go on the trip and then they move in together afterwards. And they live together for a few weeks before they get married. Now, not everybody. there are people who drop out during that process too, depending on
You
what's
don't
happening.
say.
Yeah, I know, right? Most of the people stick around to quote unquote get married, and then that's when you see if they're going to get married or not. So I think that there were 5 couples who stuck around to get married. And spoiler, no, I'm not going to do a spoil. I'm not going to spoil it. Let's just say most of them did not make it through. We won't say how many, but most of them. I mean, if you've been watching this season, you won't be surprised. Anyways, Love is Blind. Yeah, that's a journey right there that we just went on.
I'm gonna opt out of that.
It's fine. Another one that I absolutely love is Traders.
I've heard about that.
Reality TV.
Yeah,
But Alan Cumming is a national treasure, the host of the show. And what I really liked about this season was there was a lot of really good queer representation on the show. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I would highly recommend Traders, especially if you are in the reality world at all. But you don't have to be to watch Traders. You just get kind of a like leg up on like some of these people and who they are, and like there's like the Bravo universe, there's the Bachelorette universe, there's Survivor universe, and all of them like kind of come together, and it's a pretty good show. And then even if you just watch it for Alan Cummings like fashion, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. I think it is time.
I think we've hit it. I kind of wish we had like a goodbye song, like when I used to work at Six Flags. When the park needed to close, they would play Happy Trails over the speakerphone. I would laugh.
I used to work at Six Flags.
I worked at Six Flags in Vallejo for many years. That's a story from a very different time.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was great.
Oh my God.
My job was great. I was not a rides operator or worked in foods or games. I was a sound engineer. And I ran the Fright Fest for a few years. I had a very cool job.
That is awesome. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I did not know that.
Most people don't.
Well, now they do. Fun facts about Britt. Things that you learn on this podcast. Mm-hmm. See, if you stick around long enough.
If you make it through everything else.
If you make it through our technical difficulties, through the dogs barking, through
one weird fact. Yeah.
I do. I love this. I love this. Well, I ripped out the sweater, the part of the sweater that I needed to rip out.
Oh, that's great.
But I did not put it back on the needles. That was going to be my goal. Let's be real. That's not going to happen. But now we're just going to put this back on the needles and continue the ribbing. And hopefully next live podcast, I'll be able to wear it and show everyone my new sweater.
Wow. Okay. I got through two rows of lace, which is really great because the lace section is only 4 rows. So yeah, I did it. And I decided that, it's fine. But yeah. Well, I have so many like hidden thoughts in my head that I'm like, just stop. This has been fantastic. I want to thank all of you for sticking with us through our technical difficulties. And so welcome to Tuesday. Will it be on a Tuesday again? I don't know. But I do enjoy doing this, and I would like to do more. You can find me on the internet everywhere that exists under Not Bad Britt. I'm a crochet designer, BIPOC and fiber advocate, and oh my God, why isn't there more crochet in your booth kind of person? Yeah. I'm Jen. I am the host of Making Conversation. And right now I don't have another job besides that. I'm looking for it intentionally and like very carefully because the girl needs to be excited about what she does every day. And that's what's happening.
So thank you for joining us. We like to do these lives a lot. Hopefully next time we will be together in person. And I feel like they're super fun that way. Just kidding. Eventually. And hopefully next time we'll have figured out the technical difficulties and we won't have to deal with that anymore.
All right, guys.
Thanks for watching. Also, drop in the comments what you're working on while you're watching this. I want to see all the cool stuff that you are working on, and make sure that you subscribe because that really helps boost and grow the community. So yeah.
Please and thank yous.
Please and thank yous. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye. Dun dun dun.